What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA playoffs. Sunday, April 24th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, NBA playoffs. We have a 4-game slate tonight. So let's take a look at the point guard position. I like Chris Paul with Devin Booker on the sidelines. We've seen Chris Paul explode, and Chris Paul is averaging 40.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. Now, Chris Paul has scored 58, 44, and 64 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 39, 36, and 35 minutes. He's projected at 52.5 fantasy points here tonight, and that's 5.6 times value. He's 9,300 DraftKings salary, 900 more on FanDuel, so I love that DraftKings price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 215.5 points scored in this game. We were all over Chris Paul last game, and we think he's a good pick here again today. So I like Chris Paul here versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay, now here is a high risk, high reward value play. This is really a risky pick, guys, but he is super cheap. And if you want to stack those studs, you're going to need to save some salary somewhere. So take a look at Kobe White from the Chicago Bulls playing the Milwaukee Bucks. Kobe White has averaged 22.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 27 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. He's projected at 20.5 fantasy points here tonight, and that's 5.6 times value. He's only 3,700 DraftKings salary, same price on FanDuel. Now, Kobe White, he's not playing as many minutes as he did average throughout the regular season. He's only scored 18, 8, and 18 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 21, 9, and 22 minutes. But the way that I see it, if Kobe White can get 20 plus minutes in this game and get you close to 20 fantasy points or more than 20 fantasy points, he's going to be a good value play. So I like Kobe White here versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, a little less risky than Kobe White, but a little more expensive. Take a look at Monte Morris from the Denver Nuggets playing the Golden State Warriors. Monte Morris has averaged 25.2 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game with an 18% usage rate. He's projected at 24.7 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. He's 4,800 DraftKings salary, 200 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 225 points scored in this game. And I like this pick because Monte Morris has scored 26, 22, and 27 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 33, 25, and 31 minutes. So he's getting plenty of minutes. His production is just fine here for his price point. So I like Monte Morris here versus the Golden State Warriors. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. I like Zach LaVine From the Chicago Bulls, playing the Milwaukee Bucks, also eligible at the small forward position, Zach LaVine has averaged 39 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 35 minutes per game with a 29% usage rate. He's projected at 39.1 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.3 times value. He's 7,400 DraftKings salary, and he's 500 less on FanDuel. So only 6,900 FanDuel salary. I love that FanDuel price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 218.5 points scored in this game, and Zach LaVine has scored 31, 27, and 40 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 30, 43, and 36 minutes. So I like Zach LaVine here versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now I also like Will Barton from the Denver Nuggets playing the Golden State Warriors. Will Barton has averaged 29.2 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 21% usage rate. He's projected at 29.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's 5,800 DraftKings salary, 200 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 225 points scored in this game. I believe that is the highest scoring game on the slate. Let me just take a look. Yes, it is. So Will Barton has scored 29, 31, and 41 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 33, 30, and 35 minutes. So I like Will Barton here versus the Golden State Warriors. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. Here's a value play. This is another high risk, high reward play like Kobe White, but the difference here, this guy's playing a ton of minutes, just hasn't been super productive, but his salary is, it's low enough where he's worth the risk here. So take a look at Herbert Jones from the New Orleans Pelicans playing the Phoenix Suns. Herbert Jones has averaged 22.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game with a 14% usage rate. He's projected at 24.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.3 times value. He's 4,600 DraftKings salary, 100 less on FanDuel. Now, Herbert Jones, he's only scored 19, 22, and 11 fantasy points in the last 3 games, but he's played 39, 40, and 30 minutes. So he does have some monster upside. If he's going to play close to 40 minutes, then he could score 30 fantasy points or more if he gets hot, and he would crush value. So I like Herbert Jones here versus the Phoenix Suns. I also like Andrew Wiggins from the Golden State Warriors playing the Denver Nuggets. And Andrew Wiggins has averaged 29.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. He's projected at 29.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's 5,700 DraftKings salary, 200 more on FanDuel. And we know Vegas thinks there's going to be 225 points scored in this game. Andrew Wiggins has scored 21, 29, and 32 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 28, 30, and 29 minutes. So I like Andrew Wiggins here versus the Denver Nuggets. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, who do we have at the power forward position? Already gave you Herbert Jones. He's also eligible at power forward. But another guy that I think has got some pretty good upside here, and his salary is low enough where he's worth the risk. Take a look at Danilo Gallinari from the Atlanta Hawks playing the Miami Heat. And Danilo Gallinari has averaged 21.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 25 minutes per game with a 19% usage rate. He's projected at 23.1 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's 4,500 DraftKings salary, 200 less on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 221 points scored in this game. Now, Danilo Gallinari underperforming a little bit the past couple of games, scored 17, 13, and 23 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 24, 21, and 29 minutes. So if he can get 25 to 29 minutes, that's going to be your sweet spot for Danilo Gallinari. He can get 25 to 30 fantasy points in those minutes and get you over 5 times value. So I think he's a pretty good value play. He's definitely got that 30 plus fantasy point upside. Just hasn't shown it the past few games. Just needs a few extra minutes and needs to get hot from that 3-point line. But I like Danilo Gallinari here versus the Miami Heat. Okay, moving on to the center position. It's like I gotta go over this guy every single slate. Might as well just pencil this guy in. Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets playing the Golden State Warriors. The Joker has averaged 61.3 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 32% usage rate. He's projected at 61.9 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.3 times value. He's 11,600 DraftKings salary, 200 less on FanDuel. And Nikola Jokic has scored 73, 52, and 55 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 38, 28, and 34 minutes. So the Joker, he's got the biggest upside on the slate. He can drop that 70 plus fantasy point game and be a slate breaker. So that's why I wanted to include some of those more risky value plays, because if you want to play Nikola Jokic and some other studs, you're going to have to roll the dice with some of those value plays. So I like Nikola Jokic here versus the Golden State Warriors. Now, this guy hasn't played well the past couple of games, but he's got some pretty big upside, and his salary has come down quite a bit. So I like Jonas Valanciunas from the New Orleans Pelicans playing the Phoenix Suns. Jonas Valanciunas has averaged 38.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. He's projected at 38 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.3 times value. He's 7,200 DraftKings salary, 300 more on FanDuel. And Jonas Valanciunas has scored 23, 32, and 55 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 26, 26, and 30 minutes. So we're hoping for 30 plus minutes in this game. He is averaging 1.3 fantasy points per minute, and he can go off. He's got 50 plus fantasy point upside. So I like Jonas Valanciunas here versus the Phoenix Suns. Another guy that's got some big upside and his salary is still relatively cheap is Nikolai Vucevic from the Chicago Bulls playing the Milwaukee Bucks. Nikolai Vucevic has averaged 40.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 25% usage rate. He's projected at 40.1 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's 7,900 DraftKings salary, 400 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 218.5 points scored in this game. And Nikolai Vucevic has scored 35, 48, and 57 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 30, 36, and 38 minutes. So I like Nikolai Vucevic here versus the Milwaukee Bucks.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.